Tuesday, August 26th. My mind fills with dreams as I sprawl across my mattress, the blanket over my cold body, my head resting on my pillow, my eyes closed. The only acknowledgement of the outside world I have is the tiny fur baby I feel hogging my legroom as he lays by my bent feet. Then a noise. Hey sis, wake up! I feel my furry companion jerk up his body. He leaps off the bed and quickly runs, the jingling of bells following his footsteps. My eyes slightly open and I see the dark figure of my little brother near my bed. My head still on the pillow, I groan. Why'd you have to wake up, Kitty G? Carl moves as he answers. Because I want to watch Train Buddies with you later. I flop over like a breakfast pancake, giving another loud groan. It's either you or Kitty G. I can't get any peace in this house, can I? Carl is still and silent in response. I groan as I force my body off my comfortable bed, the blanket slinking off of me. I give a big yawn as I barely pronounced, Fine, I'm up. I stretched my arms, attempting to get the tiredness out. I ask, What's for breakfast, by the way? He says with disgust, Knowing Dad, something yicky and healthy. I gave another yawn, pulling my hand to my mouth. And the time? Carl teases, his shadow moving. Time for you to get a watch. I stick out my tongue and laugh. Really not your best work, dude. Carl defends himself with a chuckle. I wanted to try something new. I mean, yesterday I already made fun of how obsessively you talk. I laughed. Fine, well, I'm going to get ready. I'll meet you downstairs for breakfast, Kay? He responds, La. Confused, I arched an eyebrow. What? That's your name. You said Kay, so I finish it. I shake my head, completely get off the mattress, and get ready for the day. I climb down the stairs, seeing the shadowy figure of my brother run down the stairs, followed by the sound of his footsteps. When I reach the kitchen on the bottom right, I see a very tall, dark figure. The dark figure speaks in a very deep masculine voice. Oh, Carl, Kayla, you're up. What would you like for breakfast? I put my finger to my chin and say, Can I have bacon and sugary marshmallow lumps, please? Carl asks, Sausage and cake. Our dad laughs. How about organic oatmeal and a fresh bowl of fruit instead? I roll my eyes and cross my arms. Why did you ask us if you were just going to give us that anyway? There are sounds of something flaky being poured into a bowl, while our dad states, Well, not everyone is up yet, so you two can help me make breakfast if you want. His feet clomp on the tile floor. He opens the fridge and the cooling of the refrigerator fan buzzes. He shuffles around. Would you rather have carrot juice or pomegranate juice? Oh, we even have kale juice. I'm having this for breakfast. I shrug. Pomegranate juice is fine. I walk over to Dad, my hand slightly out. When my hand touches the table, I look up at our father. How can I help? You can start by cutting up some fresh fruits and put them in small bowls. I rub my hand against the cabinets and find the one with the knives. I open it and reach inside carefully, grabbing the first one I can find. Carl asks in a pitiful tone, Can I help cut things too? Our dad responds, Sorry, little man, but you're far too little. But you can help me make the oatmeal if you want. Carl sighs and tries arguing. On April 6th, I'll be 8. I cut the fruit. Kush, kush, as I move the small knife through the large pear. I smell its sweet juices as it sprays on my hand with each cut. My little brother helping Dad with the oatmeal and bread, pouring and mixing sounds. The smells of fruit, milk, and wheat cloud the kitchen as I hear Mom's footsteps. I turn and see a shadowy figure that is chubby and short in appearance. Hi, Mom, how you doing? Mom replies you could hear a smile in her voice. I'm doing fine, sweetie. How are you? I grin and chuckle a little. I'm good. When the breakfast is prepared, everyone takes their seats. The screeching of wooden chairs gets louder and louder as they move across the floor. I listen carefully as Dad announced, while the sounds of plates clang against the table. Oatmeal is at 6 o'clock, bread is at 8 o'clock, and fruit is at 11 o'clock. Mom crunches on a piece of fruit. She then states, This breakfast is delicious. Thank you, Howie. Dad answers warmly, I didn't do it alone. The kids helped. Mom contentedly states, Thank you, kids, for helping your dad make breakfast. Carl and I replied with a simple, You're welcome. I reached out my arm, my fingers tapping at the table. Can someone please pass me some oatmeal? Our dad grabs the bowl and begins serving me, glopping into my bowl. There you go, sweetie. So did you sleep well? I laughed and slightly faced Carl. Yes, but Carl, Dad says, I see. I looked down, my eyebrows tightened, placing the spoon filled with oatmeal in my mouth. I taste the wet, grainy morsel, with a bit of sweetness from honey. As I swallow, I look up at Dad and ask, Dad, Peter said he was busy yesterday, but maybe today, because it's Thursday, maybe he's not busy. Can he come over today, if that's the case? We'll see, sweetie, if it's all right with him. Carl asks, Which one is Peter again? You have a lot of friends, so I can't remember them all. I take a sip of my pomegranate juice and explain, He's my friend from bowling, remember? Isn't he the one that dresses colorfully? I laugh as I shrug. How should I know? I dig for another helping of my oatmeal and sigh. I always hate when school starts this time of year. My friends are never available. I'm about done with my oatmeal when I hear the jingling of bells, followed by the pitter-patter of tiny feet. Eventually, the tiny bells stop right in front of my toes. I feel a warm, furry creature rubbing against me. Kitty G, you hungry? You want some oatmeal? I take my milk-filled bowl, the spoon jingling as it scrapes on the rim of the bowl, and attempt to place it near our cat. My father orders, Kayla, I thought I told you no feeding Kitty G human food. I teased, he deserves something to eat after Carl woke him up. I pull the oatmeal out from under the table and place it in front of me. I whisper, Don't worry, Kittiest of G's. When Dad's not looking, I'll sneak you some. My hand reaches out towards the tinkling of bells, and I begin petting his soft fur, a soft purr vibrating from our cat. I look up at my dad. How about next weekend? Can I see Peter then? How about Abigail? My dad simply replies, We'll see. I tap my oatmeal with my spoon. Gloop, gloop. I sigh at the thought of the answer being no. I give a long sigh and dig for more of the oatmeal. I slowly put the helping in my mouth, deep in thought, thinking about friends, summer being over, and what my parents were going to teach me today. Eventually, the bowl made a clunk noise signaling it was empty. I reached for some more. I repeat in my head, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, while tapping my hand on the table. Finding the oatmeal serving spoon, I begin serving myself another helping. When breakfast was done, dishes were cleared and put in the dishwasher. It was time to begin Carl and my lessons. Our mom heads off for work, and she rolls her computer bag along the tile flooring. Broom, broom. I run up to Mom, hugging her. I smile. Bye, Mom. Have fun at work. Mom warmly says, Bye, sweetie. Have fun with lessons. I nod and let go of my mom. I then wrap both of my arms behind my back. I will, don't worry. I won't, Carl teases as he runs up to our mom. After Mom left, Dad replied, Okay, kids, time for lessons. Come on. I follow Carl and Dad to the office, the sound of their footsteps against the soft carpet. I hear the clicking and whoosing of the office's door. I gather the material I need for each lesson. How to Kill a Mockingbird, my TI 36T Talking Scientific Calculator, and my audio textbooks. We sit down and Dad asks, Okay, kids, let's recap on what we've learned from yesterday. Do you remember? Carl replies. I could sense the nervousness in his voice. I think I was reading a book. Our dad replies with laughter, trying to hint at Carl. Do you remember what book that was? Carl replies, his voice only growing more anxious. Yes, it was called Because of Winn-Dixie, I think. Dad asks, his tone in question. What was the book about? Carl's voice raises. I he stammers. I haven't started the book yet. He paused a little and then says, It was hard. I struggled a lot. Our dad sighs and his figure moves slightly. He asks, It's okay, Carl. We can go through it. But first, our dad pauses and asks, Kayla, do you remember what we learned yesterday? I replied as I tried to remember in my head yesterday's lesson. I count off on my hand as I went through each one. Oh, yesterday we discussed a lot of things. In math, we were discussing geometry, where we tried finding the x. For reading, we read How to Kill a Mockingbird. I'd say what the book was about, but Carl is here. And in history, we discussed World War II, I believe, and in science, we discussed red blood cells and what they do. I could hear Carl sigh a little. It was a long, disheartened sigh. I looked at him and asked, worried, Carl, what's wrong? Carl disgruntledly just moans. Nothing. Our dad asks in a worried tone, Little man, it's okay. Reading can be hard to learn at first. We'll go through it together. Dad moves around a little and asks me, Kayla, would you mind reading How to Kill a Mockingbird by yourself in your room while I go through Because of Winn-Dixie with Carl? I face Carl, give him a warm nod, and smile. Of course, yes, I can do that. The book in hand, I walk towards the door of the office and open it, heading towards my room. I open the door and I sit on my bed reading. As I read, I get distracted thinking about Carl. I hope he's doing all right. I know learning new things can be hard. I get distracted thinking about Carl. I hope he's doing all right. I know learning new things can be hard.